Sounds like a development question, but probably not about software development then. Yes.
I don't see a reason why that would happen.
Do you have questions about the question?
Do you have any questions about the question?
So what's the question of the day?
The question of the day is how to develop myself as a tester.
How to develop myself as a tester?
Yes.
That's an awesome question.
It is.
Hello everybody and welcome to the TestguruTV, the episode about mental health in software industry because everybody is happier when software works. The dude sitting next to me, his name is Jani Tuna Haikala, the ultimate champion of testing.
Hello there, and here next to me is Antti Niittyviita, a tireless testing advocate, a trainer, a public speaker, and an author.
Welcome to the show.
Welcome.
So the question was about like how to develop yourself as a tester, am I right?
Yes.
Yes. And I actually found this, I forgot the author, but found a book that was discussing a topic called QBQ. Quoestion Behind the Question. And that was something that I found out that maybe a thing to recommend to you, questions behind the questions. I got to check out the source and then just like share the book title and the author here later.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyways, do you have questions behind the question?
This time, I quite often I do have questions about the question and question behind the question, but this time I didn't really think about it that way. Did anything come to your mind?
Well, I think like this is something like that I reactively think about from like my own point of view. So what would I do if I were to like develop myself as a tester?
Yeah.
But I think like now that I'm thinking about it, one of the things that like would be interesting to like discuss here is that developing yourself as a tester has a lot to do with what you are doing and who are you trying to serve and what's the value you aim to bring to the table. So that's why I would say that first of all, just like to think about like what's the value that I'm bringing to my team, to my bosses, to my organization.
Yeah.
What's the value now and what do I want that value to be in the future? Because that way I am able to make the plan of how to develop myself as a tester.
Right. Yeah. I think that sort of is the same thought that I had initially, actually. Because during my career, obviously, if someone is asking a question like this, there's probably some motivation behind it or some idea that I actually want to develop. I've seen quite a lot of people in general and testers too who not really interested in that. So that's obviously the first reason to get somehow motivated, to have some motivation. Obviously someone who asks this type of question has that motivation, but it's also about what you just said. It's about finding that reason or that meaning behind that work.
Yeah, I think like now that you're talking here, I realized that one of the things was that figure out what is the value that I want to bring to the table for my team, bosses and organization.
Yeah.
And the second one is why do you want to develop yourself as a tester? That would be like pretty interesting thing to like uncover and what is important to you about developing yourself as a tester.
Exactly. What excites you?
What excites you and what are like the motivations behind you getting excited. So so that's interesting. Some people want to just like make more as a tester. Some people want to get more respect. They want to be seen. And that's a different kind of skill set for everybody. So the question is, why is it important for you to develop yourself as a tester?
Yeah, right.
So those I think like those two things already answer a little bit to how would you develop yourself as a tester. So take out the pen and paper. That's what I always do. Take out the pen and paper and just like start answering. What's the value you're bringing to the table?
Yeah.
What's the value you aim to bring to the table in the future? And then why is it important for you to develop yourself as a tester? And I would say those three questions give you like they give you the first part of the map on how to start doing the development. Then.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then like when you have the map about how to develop yourself, I think like there are three, I would say like not really tools, but three categories of things that I love to have like on
Okay.
my always like on the self-development kind of like roadmap.
Yeah.
And
That sounds already interesting to me.
yeah,
Please,
yeah. So
please tell more.
so the first of all is like that's the easy one, and
Yeah.
that's the obvious one. And the obvious one is like we've already talked like in the previous episodes that how do you learn to run? Like you got to run. So
Yeah.
how do you learn to do push-ups? You got to do push-ups.
Yeah.
So how do you learn to test? How do you develop yourself as a tester? You got to do testing.
Exactly, yeah.
And not always testing what other people like ask you to do or instruct you to do, but initiate something for yourself with the intention of learning. And for example, just like really easy thing to do is like go on Google and write there something like HTML example or something like that.
Yeah,
You will get
yeah.
lots of examples on like web pages with different kinds of like games and stuff like that, buttons and
Right.
different things.
Yeah.
And just like ask yourself, how could I start testing this? And just like pick something and just start asking question, how would I approach this? And then when you think about and the ideas on how would you approach, so here's the app, test it. So what will you do is the question. And then the second question is, why would you do those things? So first of all, you got to figure out how would I test, what would I test next, and then figure out why would I want to test that next. So that will give you like insight into how you're already thinking. And then the third question is, what would be wise to test next or something like that? What
Yeah.
could I do
Yeah.
next? So
Yeah.
from that point on, start doing testing and take note. And in the end, review the notes. What have I learned on this session? So always don't forget about the session that you did, but review what you did and ask yourself, what are the 3 things that I learned today when I was doing this exercise, these push-ups or this run or whatever it is. So that's one thing. Like you learn, develop yourself as a tester by testing. So that's one.
Yeah. That's seems really obvious, but then again, I don't think too many people actually do that in a way that you described. So that's really interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, and that actually, just like when you initiate it yourself, that's like really important because that already calibrates your attention towards learning. So unless you initiate it yourself, someone else has initiated it, and then you try to like please them or whatever it is. So initiate something for yourself, and in the end, ask yourself, what did I learn this time?
Right.
If you figure out only one thing, then you have like achieved the like, and one of the things is like you can fail. Also, I didn't learn anything, so you could ask why. Why is it that I didn't learn anything? So that's an important question too.
Nice. How about the second? I think there were.
Yeah, there were 3 exactly.
Yeah.
So the second one is like what I love to do is that world is full of books, world is full of information, you know, YouTube, Googles and stuff like that. So figure out what's the thing that I want to learn next and what I need to learn next. So looking at the development, like where I'm at now, what do I want to like, what's the value I want to bring to the table, and then start figuring out, are there people who have gone before me? Who have done something like this that I want to do, learned something that I want to do.
Yeah, and most likely there are.
Yeah, probably because like there are like something like 7-8 billion people in the world.
Yeah.
So probably there are someone who's gone before and documented a little bit of the journey. So just like by reading and by like researching, what have they done? How have they like approached the idea mentally, mental models and stuff like that? That's critical. And then sometimes even those people they can do like keynotes and trainings and stuff like that. So go to them, ask them for advice. And I've noticed that like just like by asking for advice, you oftentimes you get advice. So it's not a big deal. So you got to learn to ask for advice from other people. So I would say that's like the power of what you call mentors, I would say.
Yeah.
And they don't even have to be mentors that you've met personally. They can be like mentors that are like, they wrote a great book. So I choose this dude or this lady as my mentor and just like research what they did. So
Right. Yeah.
that would do the job. Have you like, do you have like, if you were to choose, like, do you have like mentors, someone who you could name like is your idol or who you've been like a fan of in testing?
Yeah,
for
I
some
think
time?
in testing it's quite interesting. There's quite a lot of different schools of testing.
Yeah.
And also, what I've found within the testing community is that people are sort of I don't know how to put it. They're defending their point of view, and sort of also putting others down. In a sense, I'm not sure if that's the right way.
I'm just a critical thinker.
Yeah. So it's not like that. This is how it is.
Yeah.
And then my approach, I guess, has been more like each of these schools or these camps have their own good ideas. So just try to pick something from
cherry
each and,
picking there.
from each and every one of them. But then again, I think rapid software testing, Michael Bolton, James Buck is that's if I had to mention something that then that would be,
there should be ones that I mentioned too.
Yeah.
Elizabeth Henriksen, I think.
Yeah.
So if I were to mention more, and
Lisa Crispin actually has nice ideas, good books too. Yeah.
That's true.
Books.
So just like to mention few that we would like. We like are the fans of. So and one of the things like on YouTube, Evil Tester.
Right.
Just check out Evil Tester on YouTube, but don't do it yet because we have one more point to go. Just after the video, check out Evil Tester. He has lots of like great videos on different topics of testing, and I just love to watch his style. So yeah. But anyways, like power of mentors, and someone's gone before already. So just like reverse engineering, what they did and what was their philosophy and tactics and stuff like that. So
true.
So yeah,
I think is there a third point?
Yeah, there is
coming.
A third one. I was waiting for you to ask the question. And the third question is like I just like met at the TestGuru Summit the last time we did it. Maaret Pyhäjärvi was speaking there, and she told that she had like founded this like small group called the Testing Dozen. So it's like Dirty Dozen or something like the Testing Dozen, and they have these like meetups with the Testing Dozen, and they have these like exploratory testing sessions and different kinds of technical challenges that they do when they gather around on not on the same table but on the same like Zoom meeting or whatever it is. So the power of the peer group is like it's incredibly like it's super influential. So like finding people who are like-minded and starting from the organization first, like there probably are 1, 2, 3, maybe 5 people that you could like just sometimes grab a cup of coffee and come to a Zoom meeting and discuss some kinds of important topics about testing and bring table something and maybe questions that you want like just to like throw around and look from different angles, or maybe sometimes go on the Google and HTML example, and just find the thing to test and hey, what would you do first when starting to test like something like this? And that's something that like instantly builds like the level.
That's really nice. I like that idea.
And the power of peer groups and preferably a peer group that is playing the game on the top level of your skills or a little bit higher. So you learn the most by playing with people who are playing a little bit higher. So that's why I always try. It's not the most comfortable thing to always go to play tennis with someone who's better than you, but that's the way you learn.
Yeah, that's absolutely. For example, in sports, I've noticed that quite frequently during my years.
Yeah,
I really like being in those groups where I'm not the best, and that's obviously easy for me not to be the best, but to play with people that are highly skilled, that really increases your skills as well, and obviously that idea works everywhere.
And that also works as like the base to model someone else who's a little bit better than you. So how do you think about this challenge, or how do you do for example, you play golf and there is someone who's like super skilled with that. So just could you check out my swing and tell me what you think. So and is there something that I'm missing here, and that way just like that's how it goes. So the peer group has the power of like there are the mentors and the better ones and all that. And there's this one distinction. It's a pretty hard like sentence in a sense, but this came from a group of Navy SEALs, and they were thinking about why is it that they are a team that's performing like on a super high level compared to almost everyone else in the world. So one of the things that their commander said was that the human life is the reflection of the expectation of their peer group. So that's why I'm saying that a little bit more and more a higher standard playing peer group is exceptional, because that's the expectation that they set for you. So human life is a direct reflection of the expectation of the peer group that they have. So so that was like really profound for me, and I've been like continuously seeking that kind of situation from ever since I heard it.
That's smart. Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, we have the Test Guru Insiders, where every week you will get from my inbox to yours the new episodes of TestguruTV way before anyone else does in the world. And in addition to being there as the Test Guru Insider, I have one bonus for you. You get to join the Test Guru Challenge for free. That's going to be held in September. Test Guru Challenge is coming, and then you will get some epic insider discounts for the Test Guru Summit that we annually also do. So there is like lots of reasons for you to join the Test Guru Insiders right now. Please do it, come, and I want to see you on the other side. Oh, the URL, prove.guru/insiders.
A lot of stuff in there, actually. And also quite interesting, I've got some ideas also. Very similar, actually. Just sort of put in a bit different words and in different order. But yeah, like we talked about in the beginning, or we talked about the motivation of why are you doing this, what do you want, that type of things, to find those first. Then when I've talked with people, quite often people sort of say that yeah, sure, I want to develop, but there's no time. I don't have the time to do that.
Yeah.
Maybe, and I think usually they expect to be able to do that during their work time.
Yeah.
On the employer's expense.
That's true. Yeah.
Not ready to put in any hours of their own. So obviously, I think both should be available.
That's true. Yeah.
So sort of have those negotiations with your employer. When can I do this? When can I do sort of self-development? But also, I think you should be ready to put in some hours of your own as well.
That's true. Yeah. And maybe even some like, money or whatever it is, because like that's the only way to grow your value faster than your organization allows you. Yeah. And when your value grows, that will like reflect on your income level.
You're not
too,
doing it only for yourself. Not only for the employer, but for yourself as well.
For yourself.
So,
and all the investment in the self is something that is transferable from employer to employer. So that's like super valuable insight.
But then also when talking to people, maybe trainings are the first thing that they sort of try to turn to if there's suitable trainings.
Yeah.
But if when I've done trainings, being a trainer myself, or been in seminars talking to testers, and I've quite often asked, what type of stuff have you done in order to develop yourself? It's quite rare for people to say that they have read any books that we actually talked about earlier, or blogs, or joined any communities, or gone to seminars, or things like that.
Yeah.
Sort of find those places where you can actually get that information.
Exactly. Yeah.
Or podcasts, whatever they might be. So sort of find those places where you can sort of get that information for yourself.
I think that lots of the things that we discuss here are, like you said, time. Maybe my boss doesn't want to invest money in this kinds of stuff and whatever. Yeah. Those are like, we're talking about resources. So in a sense, oftentimes when people don't do what they should be doing in order to develop themselves as a tester or whatever it is, they blame it on the resources. They don't have the resources. But if you have a strong enough motivation to grow and learn, then you will find the way.
And absolutely.
And it's not about the resources, it's about the resourcefulness that you have. And it always boils down to my resourcefulness. I can figure out the way to find the time. I can figure out the way to find the budget. I can figure out the way how I can travel to London and do that workshop, what I wanted to do. So I will figure out. But that demands a strong commitment from our point of view, our side. So
yeah. And then once you have those, you have the motivation, you have the time, you have the sort of the resources or the tools available, whatever they are, if they're trainings or books or whatever they are. Then sort of also my last I think this was pretty much your first, and this is my last point. Then so take action and take things into practice. It's not like you go to a training or you read a book and things just magically change by themselves. Sort of have to also put something in your calendar and take something into action.
So
and
let me try it out this afternoon.
You can sort of iterate and learn from your doings and so on.
So let's see my notes and let me try it this afternoon. Let me try it tomorrow. I will like dedicate time and I will block it in my calendar so that no one else can steal it. And that's how it goes.
Yeah.
So experimenting.
Yeah. But very similar ideas to yours.
Cool.
In a bit different order, but the same things. Yeah.
So I feel like we have covered a lot of the question. Do you feel like we've done enough?
I am happy.
Yeah.
And that was maybe sounded a bit uncertain. I am really happy.
I'm super confidently happy.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Hey, if you liked the episode, please don't hesitate to hammer on the like button and send your questions or comments to the comment field of this video. And remember, subscribe to the channel. Please do subscribe to the channel because that way we can spread the word and make the world happier place because everybody's just happier when software works and make software testing more respected and whatever it is for you. So please share the link and subscribe to the channel.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for joining.
See you. Bye.
So please whatever. Thank you.